Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am R. Hunter Jr., the Truth and Not a Rumor. This is the Surround Sound Podcast. We are in the midst of a special week. It is called Masters Week. Down there in Augusta, Georgia, they'll be playing the Masters, a renowned golf tournament, one of the oldest golf tournaments, not only in the United States, in the world over. We have a very special guest that is going to basically guide us not only through the Masters, but through the Liv / PGA beef that's going on, and also the things that we should look for if we want to pick up golf, and also the storylines of the year as well. This gentleman is the golf manager at Pillow Castle Golf Course in Columbia, Tennessee. His name is Rick Saxby, and we'll bring him on in just a moment. Also on this week's show, we're going to talk about President Biden. He has issued in student loan forgiveness again. We're going to see on this week's show. When you download, you'll be able to hear the ins and outs of that. Also, entertainment-wise, we're going to have a Power Pack segment. As far as that, we're going to get into the J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and Drake situation. Also, Ja Morant. Finally hearing some good news as far as his situations with an S, as far as they go as well. But nonetheless, we're going to bring in this gentleman. He is an awesome guy. He's also an awesome chef. So hopefully we'll see if he'll give the secret to his one of his favorite dishes that I have had near the end of the show. Also, we'll talk about Detroit sports. But we'll go ahead and bring him on. Golf manager of Pillow Castle Golf Course down there in Rick Saxby. How you doing, Rick?
Good.
Can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you, man.
Hey, I'm excellent. All right, excellent. I can't want for anything. So glad that we can finally get you on to talk about a little golf. And then, of course, we're going to save some time at the end so we can talk about a little bit of Detroit sports. How that sound?
All right, I'm ready.
Excellent. All right, so there are a lot of people in my audience that have heard of golf but don't know the slightest thing about it. Could you tell a novice, I mean, just in a few words, like, what is golf all about? What is the rage about? What makes it something that people come back to?
Well, I know I've known a lot of athletes in my time that have always described golf as the hardest game they've ever played, but it's the most challenging to pick up. And once they play, they get hooked. The great thing about golf is you can play golf into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, where, hey, my basketball playing days were over half of my life ago.
Yeah, very true.
No,
very true.
No, I couldn't handle it once I got past 35. It's just a wonderful game. It's challenging. Those
right there with you.
Those who love the outdoors, and you get to be on properties for the most part that are well groomed. You get to play with some of your best friends. You get to have a little challenge, and it's relaxing too. If you let it be relaxing. If you don't take the game too seriously, you'll enjoy it and you'll continue to play it. If you think you're going to get good at it, well, I'm sorry, but nobody at our course is that good. Nobody.
Mrs. Saxby.
And that includes this guy right here.
I'm sorry, you said that includes who?
This guy right here.
Okay, so yeah, you're being modest right now. But I did take some of your advice. Mm-hmm. The last time I hit some balls, which was about the early part of March. We got some sunny days there on the weekend, and I hit some golf balls. Mm-hmm. I took your advice. My hands were relaxed.
Okay.
Did an easy swing, easy follow through, and I let the club do the work.
Well, when you plug in you got to plug in a saw to let the tool work. So you got to let the tools do its work.
Exactly. And as they say, a good craftsman never blames his tools. So I didn't have to blame the club this go round.
Nope.
What does Pillow Castle have? You know, I know you guys have done some renovations and whatnot. So what you guys got going on there?
Well, Ruben, can you hear me, Ruben?
Someone that is a novice, kind of like myself, would have to choose from there.
Well, let me make a slight correction, Ruben. It's called the course at Pillow Springs, not Pillow Castle. Okay.
My apologies.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And yes, we're undergoing major renovations. As Ruben, you knew the old golf course a little bit, and we basically took the course right down to the bare dirt, and we're building a brand new golf course. We have our first 9 open. It's a wonderful, wonderful 9 holes, and hopefully by this September we'll have our second 9 holes open. We have a new driving range. We have a new 60,000 square foot putting course. So there's something open out there for everybody to try. And I mean, you can just find us. You can Google us at Pillow Springs Golf and find our website and our Facebook page and our Instagram page. And we do not price people out of the market. And I will say this without any bias that I believe that our new front 9 has some of the best playing conditions in Middle Tennessee. So I'm really looking forward to the back 9.
Excellent. So happy to hear about the positive things that are going on at Pillow Springs Golf Course. Mr. Sax.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to golf, the rage right now is Liv versus the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, guys are, you've had a couple already to leave PGA, so to speak, and go over to Liv. Most notably, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Cam Smith, even.
Mm-hmm.
What do we see as imminent? Do we see from what you know? Do we see a merger possibly coming about?
The merger, and this is just my opinion, the merger is kind of questionable. They're pretty divided on some major issues. There is a ton, like the rest of the landscape of sports right now. There is so much money flowing into Live right now, and I'm sorry, but these guys, it's kind of like the NIL and the NCAA. When they finally are able to sell their image or their names for look at what Caitlin Clark was getting this year, and
cool,
so these guys are being offered up front 100, 150, 250 million dollars. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy were offered over $750 million to defect, to go over. Now they didn't, but I mean, I'm sorry, but it's kind of hard to turn down that kind of money, and it's a little bit lower key. They do have some interesting facets to Live. They only play 54 holes. There's no cut. If anybody is aware of what a cut is in golf, they start off with a field of normally about 144 players, and only the top 72 in ties get in for the weekend, and those are the only ones that make the money. Well, in Live, they start off with 48 players. Everybody gets paid. And then they also have team events. They also organize their own teams for the entire season, and there's money for team event also. I mean, the winner of each event usually wins about $4 million. So it's big money, and
it seems like it's a no-brainer. They're taking care of the players.
Well, they're taking care of the players, but a lot of purists believe that they're quote unquote selling their soul to the devil by breaking up the tradition of the game. And I'll tell you, the guy who claimed he'd never did defect, well, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you hear a lot of different bigger different tune coming out of Rory McIlroy in the next year, because the commissioner, Tim Finchin, uh, basically 180'd on his stance from last year, and they're trying to create a merger. I have no idea what's going to happen with that. If I told you, I'd be wrong. So
Definitely understood, Rick. Definitely understood. It seems like it's one of those things. It reminds me of the USFL and the NFL back in the 80s, and even the USFL and XFL this spring. You're going to have to come to some resolution one way or another, or just everybody's going to lose. And that's definitely not something that we want at all.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of baseball free agency when back in the early '70s, and to where they basically had to win a lawsuit to be able to let these guys become free agents, and they said it would ruin the game, and I mean, heck, the steroid issue was more detrimental than free agency ever was to baseball. So,
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as emerging players and some of the best players out right now, of course, we got Scotty Scheffler, the aforementioned Rory McIlroy, and John Ram. They're the top three in the world golf rankings right now. Who else should we be on the lookout for?
Yeah, well, a guy who's very, very consistent, and the players who win are the players who are putting. Bar none. Everybody, the guys who are hottest with their putters are the guys who end up winning. But Patrick Cantlay has won. Colin Morikawa, he's kind of surprised me. I thought he was such a terrific ball striker that I was surprised that he hasn't won more yet. Xander Schauffele is great, Now Rahm, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Rahm defected to the Live Tour this year, so Rahm's with Live now, and I think Rahm did it partly to try to help. Maybe he thought he could help merge the two groups together, but there hasn't been much of an effect on that yet. So,
and what I'm realizing and what I'm reading as far as Rahm and the defection is he doesn't want to be the main guy to kind of unite everyone. So he has switched over, but now he's kind of like, I guess, in a gray area on how much he wants to be a person that's going to basically help merge things. But he's gone over as well.
I believe that's what's hurt Rory's game is he became the spokesman, or like some people say, the sacrificial lamb for the PGA Tour, and he spent so much time on that I think sometimes his mental state isn't where he would like to be with his game. So
most definitely, it's definitely caused a stir regarding the Live and the PGA Tours and those members of each. Real quick though, we got Augusta, we got the Masters going on this week.
Yep.
Do you have any favorites for the 2024 Masters?
Well, if I would put, in my opinion, I would put two guys up on top. Maybe a dark horse with Rory. I'm really hoping Rory can play well, but be Scotty Scheffler and Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka, that guy is a flat out stud. That dude is tough in majors. Rahm beat him last year in the Masters, and I was really surprised that Koepka did not play better down the stretch. But Koepka still won another major last year. He won at Oak Hill with the PGA. So, I would pick one of those three, and maybe a dark horse with Patrick Cantlay.
Excellent. One name that I see that you did not mention for all our Tiger Woods fans. Tiger Woods right now is 959th in the world. Do we ever? I mean, are we wishing upon a star that Tiger Woods might win another major?
Yeah, it's not that he doesn't have the ability. I just don't foresee his body cooperating with him You know, I said years ago when he won, that was his last major he won before he made that comeback of the ages at the Masters back in 19. But when he played that U.S. Open on that torn ACL, I said
Yeah.
it's and if you I've read Tiger's book and his golf swing, and that leg affected his back. I'll say it till the cows come home, but I believe that injury was the start of his decline right there. Even though he won a lot after that, it was the start of his decline.
Yeah, the torque that he puts on
Yes.
his swing and on that knee. Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm in the contingent that's hoping that he'll be able to pull out another one. But
Oh,
yeah,
I mean, you saw what happened in 19. The golfing world went nuts when he won. I mean, he was the guy who had the country riveted for 10 years. I mean, he was unbelievable. So
most definitely. Mr. Saxby, and for everyone, just to reset, we are here with golf manager Rick Saxby of the golf course at Pillow Springs down there in Columbia, Tennessee. Make sure you go to pillowspringsgolfcourse.com. You'll be able to check out and see what specials they got. Good food, good fun, all those good things. New nine-hole course right now. Have a new driving range and putting service down there as well. Mr. Saxby, before I let you get out of here, you're a devout Detroit Tigers sports fan.
Tigers,
and
yes.
Okay.
No.
Well,
I mean, all Detroit, but yes, Tigers first.
Okay. No, let me say this. It's kind of interesting how you guys only get like two at a time. It seems like when the Red Wings were hot and the Pistons were hot, the other two were not. Or when the Tigers and the Red Wings are good, the Lions and the Pistons are not. Well, right now, the Red Wings are two spots out of the A seed in the NHL. And of course, the Lions, the Cinderella, if you will, of last season's NFL 23-24 season. What do you see now with your Tigers? They're 7-4 in the young season, second in AL Central.
Yep. Yeah,
what do we see?
They just made a nice comeback this afternoon. I watched the ninth inning. They scored 4 in the ninth to beat Pittsburgh. They have a really, really good nucleus of starting pitchers. They have a surprisingly good bullpen, and they also have about 3 to 4 guys. Meadows in center field, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, great young talent, Colt Keith, who is just making his major league debut this year. And they have a very good manager, and they have some other good talent in their farm system. So they're in the weakest division in the MLB. So I just hope that they can just scratch and claw their way. No pun intended for the Tigers, scratch and claw.
Yeah.
But I hope that I hope that they can be sniffing around come the 1st September, because I would just be on cloud 9. I mean, they were my boyhood heroes, and I'm sorry, the Tigers can go 0-162, and I'll still be a Tigers fan.
You'll still be a Tigers fan. Right. Okay. The Lions. We got the NFL draft coming up. The Lions made it to the NFC Championship game, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. What do you think are the Detroit Lions' biggest needs going into the draft?
Well, the defensive backfield. They lost. I can't remember the guy that they lost. Went away in free agency, but they could use a little bit more help, especially at corner. That would be their biggest strength. Their O-line is terrific. They have two excellent running backs. Yeah. Their wideouts are good, even though Reynolds left. And Amon St. Brown, Rod St. Brown is a stud. I mean,
Yeah,
that
he
guy,
is.
and his story is unbelievable. Him and his brothers both, all three of them.
Yeah,
And they got a great coaching staff, and their OC stayed because he feels they can get back. Dan Campbell's awesome, and they got a great GM. I'm gonna tell you, man, I never dreamt I would have ever seen the Lions with a front office like this, because the Lions, I'm going to tell you what, it was like Nightmare on Elm Street watching that team develop every year. It was
yeah,
terrible. So,
yeah.
I mean, they made me a Lions fan again after the last
That's
time I was
awesome.
a Lions fan, I think I was 12.
That's awesome. And you know, me being a Bears fan,
Yeah, yeah.
I must say, my heart was warmed by watching the Detroit Lions. I was actually pulling for you guys.
No,
I
man,
was pulling
that's
for you.
saying something coming from you, Ruben.
I know, man. I know, man, because I'm never pulling for Green Bay. They will never be a feel-good story for
Oh,
me.
no.
And not Minnesota either. But Detroit, since I know you guys, the Saxbys from the 313, yeah, I was pulling for you guys this year.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Yeah, man. No problem at all. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Rick Saxby, for coming along, the golf manager there at the golf course at Pillow Springs. Make sure you go to pillowspringsgolfcourse.com. Also, Pillow Springs Golf Course on Facebook, and check them out and see what they have going on. The best to the family, best to your wife, Mrs. Saxby, and Rick Jr.
Yeah, all right, Ruben. You see this hat, buddy?
I cannot see what it says, but I see you have a hat on.
It's rocking the green, because I'll be thinking of you Sunday when I'm at Augusta watching the final round.
Okay, so you will be down there for the final.
I'll be there for the final round.
I will live vicariously through you.
Do it, because I'll be giving you a good report the next time we talk.
Excellent. Sounds good, there, Mr. Zach.
All right, buddy. Man,
all right, now you have to go.
Okay.